All right, what's up, guys? It is Saturday, hanging out at the bar. Yeah, it's January 9th. Getting in, doing some training. Second deadlift day of the week. Gonna just kind of get in, get warmed up here. I got all my weights set up. Gunning for a few sets of 8s with 585. So it should be pretty smooth. And then hit some accessory work and whatever else, and then be done. Olive will be up here shortly to join me and get her through another iteration of deadlift. So it should be good. Pretty straightforward. Just kind of keeping that volume high, getting a little bit of accessory work in, stuff to support the main movement, and just putting in time. Like, this is the majority of what most of your training should be if you are trying to compete in powerlifting. So not a lot of it's very sexy. A lot of it just a lot of volume, a lot of rep work. Just put in that time. So yeah, hopefully you check out this workout and enjoy it, give it a thumbs up, and I guess we'll talk to you as we go. Here we go. There you go. Good. Good. That's exactly what I want. Atta girl. That's perfect. That was super.
All right, guys, that's it. That's the video for today. Got in, did some training, and just kind of sticking with that volume, right? So hit 8s. I was working with 585. You were working with 145.
Yep.
and just kind of doing some cueing and talking through. Today we were talking about, you know, keeping the chest up. We're talking about bringing her shoulders back and having that bar like kind of preloaded before she actually began lifting the weight. And so I think the subsequent sets looked really good. How did that feel?
It felt great. Definitely not used to working with a lighter weight. Because deadlift is like my strongest lift that I have. But it definitely was easier to break down my form and really like be able to look at myself in the mirror and see exactly where my form was having a break in it that I needed fixed.
Cool. So that's stuff that we'll continue to work on. Is just little tiny corrections, right? So a lot of stuff with, I think, lifting in general is like you try to improve mechanics and get things generally good. And then it's not too dissimilar from driving down the highway, right? It's just subtle course corrections, right? Little turns here and there, just to dial things in and kind of get things moving more efficiently. So on the last video where I introduced Olive, we kind of talked about wanting to get in and do some training, whatever. One of the comments in the videos was about how we didn't discuss numbers at all. And that was actually kind of a purposeful thing, right? Like I was specifically avoiding talking about numbers because I think, especially with it being her very first competition, like talking numbers specifically is not that valuable. Moreover, when she does her first competition, it's all about just being in competition like with yourself. And I know that may seem kind of like a, you know, like an Instagram, you know, motivational phrase or whatever the case is. But like really honestly, with powerlifting, you do the best you can to be as strong as you hope to be on a certain day, right? But ultimately, you're only as strong on that day as you're gonna be. So it really doesn't matter what everyone else is doing. You just try to be the best version of you that you can be. And hopefully, whatever you brought to the table that day is better than whatever you had in previous iterations, either training or competition. So for her, with her being her first competition, I really don't want to stress and emphasize numbers because quite literally, numbers are not that important. It's really more about getting in and doing some good solid training, keeping her healthy and injury free, and just getting her to enjoy the experience and the process. So that's something that she'll want to continue to do. You know, if I harp number, right, like it becomes work, it becomes a chore, and then like we focus on the wrong stuff and we don't take the right things from it. But to give you guys an idea about where she is, like just so that you guys kind of have that, I don't know, that barometer, right? So you are about, how much do you weigh?
I weigh about 125-ish right now. So
125. And so for bench, we've been having you do like working weight with about 60, 70 pounds. So in that 70-pound range for sets of 8s. For your squat, we were having you work with
105.
Yep, about 105. So because bar is a 55-pound bar, and would normally be 95 pounds on the bar with the two 225s on each side, or 125 rather. It puts her at 105. So doing her squat work with 105, and then deadlift we were working with 145. Yep. So that's kind of where she is right now in this volume block. And so I'm gonna kind of have her working with numbers like this right now, with reps of about 8 or so, at about the weights that she is, and then we're gonna continue to increase the weights, and we're going to continue to decrease the volume as we progress through this phase and into the actual meet, so that she can be as prepped to lift the best 1 rep max that she's had. Now, ordinarily, I might prefer to do like a test where we figure out where you are, like legitimately, what is your 1 rep max. But because the meet isn't that far away, I don't think that it's hypercritical, especially with it being your first meet, whatever else. Moreover, the thing that I'm trying to emphasize with this is like the learning process, the understanding of what it is that we're doing, because essentially in working with her, I'm trying to work myself out of a job, right? Like, so like she hired me to coach her, but I don't want her reliant on me. I want her to learn as much as she can from me so that she doesn't need me anymore. And I think that that's a pretty critical thing too, right? So like, I want to make sure that I'm emphasizing like the why and explaining things and talking about like the training philosophy, so that she can take what it is that I'm doing and use that in future iterations of her own training, whether she adapts it or discards it or whatever. At least she has a kind of a foundational understanding of why I did the things that we did to make sure that we're getting toward a thing, right, which is the meet. So yeah, I mean, like, so if we were gonna talk, I guess, just loosely, aspirationally, what would you like to see out of your competition? What would you like your bench, your squat, and your deadlift to be?
Like real.
Like what numbers? Like if you think in your head, like that number would make me happy.
Deadlift like 300, because I've pulled that previously, so that would be a good spot. Squat 285 roughly, and bench, like I'd be happy with 145, 150 on bench.
Cool.
Seeing that it's my weakest point, I'm not super overly concerned on my bench.
So we'll see how the training goes, and we'll do the best we can. But it always is good to have like ideas in mind and things that you're aiming for long term, and then ultimately once you get there, you know, resetting and doing it again. That's all this ever really is. To pivot a little bit, I know that in the last video we talked about some of the physical injuries and things that you've experienced.
Yeah.
And maybe you tell the viewers at home kind of like what you've experienced and what you've gone through and where you are now.
So I'm 21 now. When I was 17, I found out that I have a hip condition called FAI. It's super common in females, but normally it's not recognized until mid to late 30s. Mine was recognized because I lost feeling in my legs. Did a couple MRIs, found out that the inside of my hip sockets had no cartilage, and my femoral head was rubbing bone on bone. I had 2 hip surgeries when I was 17, and the doctors gave me roughly a 10% chance of ever walking again. For about a year, I let that number sit in my head, like, I'm not gonna do this, like it doesn't matter type of thing. I stopped living my life, and I just purely started like trying to survive day to day. And then one day I got fed up with it, because I was like, dude, I'm 17, I'm not doing anything, I can't go to school because I'm on pain meds, I can't function in a normal everyday life. I can stand for 30 minutes max without pain. And I started going to the gym, and now I'm here. So the gym in a way kind of like pushed me forward and propelled me into legitimately living my life every day to the fullest.
It's awesome. So obviously, like, there's a lot more detail and granularity with her story and the ins and outs and all of it, but like just from the surface level, you guys can see, like, you know, she's gone through and endured a lot, and you know, she really has that kind of train despite mentality, right? Like, so doctors gave her a small % chance of ever being able to walk again, and you know, here she is doing what she's doing. Now, I understand that like there are some things that maybe just are insurmountable. But even sticking points are not stopping points. And there's always a way to pivot. There's always a way to adjust. There's always a way to continue to try. And it may require some extreme adaptation, but there's always a way to continue to try. And so I know that there are many of you out there, because I see the messages, I read all the messages that you guys send. I know that there are a lot of you going through a lot of different things, and life isn't always easy. But you know, like Olive, I encourage you to continue to try and reach for more, because I think you're ultimately going to get whatever you settle for. And if you settle for, you know, just a mediocre life, and you settle for, you know, like low aspirations, then that's exactly what you're going to get. But if you decide to, you know, pull yourself up and try to apply yourself and reach for more, like at least you have the chance of getting there. But you'll never get there unless you try. And I think that's the thing to take away from all this for now. So we'll continue to check in with Olive. We'll continue to kind of hear more of her story as we go through the training period and get to know her a little bit more personally, because I think that could be a huge source of inspiration for many of you at home, just her and how she decided to kind of pursue her own life, and I hope that you guys do the same. That's it, guys. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Continue to do all the things you guys have been doing for the channel and help this grow into what it's really become. I can't wait to see what else we can do. If this is like the second or third time you've checked out the video or the channel and haven't subbed, I wish that you would. It'd be good to have you join the family. And yeah, that's it, guys. Remember, no matter what it is you think you can't do, like come back some pretty gnarly shit, doctor's telling you never walk again, right? It's never going to happen unless you get in and you train despite. You're either going to find an excuse, you're going to find a way. And I hope that you guys continue to find the way. Thanks for checking this one out. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.
There we go.